What if something's sitting in your kitchen right now, something you've reheated 100 times without thinking, could quietly be putting stress on your body in ways you never noticed? Most people don't realize that certain everyday foods can change their chemical structure when reheated, and in some cases, those changes may not be as harmless as we assume. Before we go any further, if you care about your long-term health and want more simple, science-backed insights like this, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people learn what truly matters before it's too late. Now, I want you to think about your daily routine. You cook, you store leftovers, you reheat them. It feels practical, safe, even responsible. And most of the time, it is. But what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. In my years of working with patients, I've seen patterns that are often overlooked. People come in with fatigue, digestive discomfort, unstable blood sugar, or unexplained inflammation. And sometimes, small daily habits are part of the bigger picture. Reheating food is not inherently dangerous. Let me be clear about that. But certain foods, when reheated improperly or multiple times, may develop compounds that are harder for the body to process. Over time, repeated exposure to these changes may contribute to cellular stress, and in some cases, this has been studied for its potential links to long-term health concerns. And here's the unsettling part. Many of these foods are considered healthy. They're in your fridge right now. They're part of your regular meals. And no one has ever told you to be careful with them after cooking. I've seen this happen too many times, people focusing on what they eat, but not how they handle what's left over. Tonight, I want you to listen carefully, not with fear, but with awareness, because small adjustments in your daily habits can make a meaningful difference over time. Let's start with something almost everyone has reheated without a second thought, and it may be affecting your body more than you realize. Rice. It's simple, affordable, and a staple in millions of homes. You cook it once, store it, and reheat it the next day. It feels harmless. But this is where most people unknowingly make a mistake. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Cooked rice, when left at room temperature for too long before refrigeration, can become a breeding ground for certain bacteria. These bacteria can produce toxins that are not always destroyed by reheating. That means even if the rice is steaming hot the second time, those toxins may still remain. Now, I'm not saying that reheating rice automatically causes harm. That would be misleading, but improper storage and repeated reheating can increase risk, especially for people with weaker immune systems or sensitive digestion. I've had patients who complained of frequent bloating, mild nausea, or digestive discomfort, and they couldn't pinpoint why. When we reviewed their eating habits, leftover rice stored incorrectly often came up. It's not just about immediate symptoms either. Over time, repeated exposure to poorly handled food can place subtle stress on your digestive system. And when your digestion is affected, it can influence blood sugar stability, energy levels, and even inflammation. Most people don't connect these dots. Here's what matters: how quickly you cool your rice, how you store it, and how often you reheat it. Rice should be refrigerated within a short time after cooking and ideally reheated only once. If you've been leaving it out for hours and reheating it multiple times, this is your sign to reconsider that habit. It may seem like a small detail, but your body notices what you don't, and this is just the beginning. Because the next food I'm about to share is something many people eat for protein, for strength, for health. Yet the way it's reheated could quietly change its impact on your body. Chicken. It's one of the most commonly consumed proteins, especially for those trying to eat healthier, manage weight, or support muscle strength as they age. But here's something most people don't realize. When chicken is reheated, especially multiple times or at uneven temperatures, its protein structure can begin to change. This doesn't mean it becomes toxic, but it can make the proteins harder for your body to break down efficiently. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Your digestive system relies on recognizing food structures to process them properly. When those structures change significantly, digestion can become less efficient. Over time, this may lead to feelings of heaviness, bloating, or discomfort after meals. I've seen this happen too many times, people doing everything right on paper, eating lean protein, avoiding processed foods, but still feeling off after meals. And sometimes, the issue wasn't what they were eating, but how they were reheating it. There's another concern. If chicken isn't reheated evenly, certain areas may not reach a temperature high enough to eliminate harmful bacteria, while other parts become overcooked. This uneven reheating can increase the risk of foodborne illness. And for those already managing blood sugar or inflammation, even mild digestive stress can have a ripple effect. Your body works harder, your energy dips, and over time, these small stresses add up. So what can you do? Reheat chicken slowly and evenly. Avoid reheating it more than once. And if possible, consume it fresh rather than relying heavily on leftovers. These aren't dramatic changes, but they are meaningful ones. Because your body isn't just reacting to what you eat, it's responding to how that food has been handled every step of the way. And the next food? It's something many people consider one of the healthiest vegetables you can eat. But reheating it incorrectly may reduce its benefits, and in some cases, create compounds you wouldn't expect. Rich in nutrients, packed with antioxidants, and often recommended for heart health and blood sugar support. It's the kind of food people feel good about eating. But there's something important you should know. Spinach naturally contains compounds called nitrates. On their own, nitrates are not harmful. In fact, they can play a role in supporting blood flow. But when spinach is cooked, stored, and then reheated improperly, these nitrates can convert into nitrites, and under certain conditions, further into compounds that may not be as beneficial for your body. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean spinach is dangerous. Far from it. Spinach is incredibly healthy when consumed fresh and handled properly. But repeated reheating can alter its chemical balance in ways that may not support long-term health. Most people don't realize this. I've seen patients who eat vegetables consistently, yet still struggle with subtle inflammation or fatigue. And sometimes it's not about the vegetables themselves, but how they're prepared and reheated. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. When leafy greens like spinach are reheated multiple times, they may also lose a significant portion of their vitamins. That means you're not getting the same nutritional value you think you are. So not only could the composition change, but the benefits may decrease. If you've been cooking large batches of spinach and reheating them throughout the week, it may be worth adjusting that habit. Consume it fresh when possible. If you do store it, reheat it only once and avoid prolonged storage at room temperature. Your body thrives on freshness more than most people realize. And now we come to a food that's deeply comforting, widely consumed, and often reheated without hesitation. But what happens when you reheat it might change the way you see it forever. Potatoes, warm, filling, and incredibly versatile. They're part of everyday meals in so many homes. Boiled, baked, mashed, and very often reheated. But here's what most people don't realize. Cooked potatoes, when left to cool at room temperature for extended periods, can become a potential environment for bacterial growth, similar to what happens with rice. And once certain toxins form, reheating may not fully eliminate them. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Potatoes also undergo structural changes when cooked and cooled. Some of these changes can be beneficial, like the formation of resistant starch, which may support blood sugar balance. But repeated reheating can degrade this benefit and alter how your body processes the starch. I've seen this happen too many times. People trying to eat simple, home-cooked meals, yet unknowingly creating small patterns that affect digestion and energy levels. There's another layer to consider. When potatoes are reheated at very high temperatures, especially frying or roasting again, certain compounds can form that are being studied for their potential impact on long-term health. This doesn't mean occasional reheating is dangerous, but repeated exposure over time is something worth being mindful of. Your body is incredibly resilient, but it's also responsive. If you've been reheating potatoes multiple times, leaving them out before refrigeration, or cooking them in large batches for days, this is your moment to pause and rethink that routine. Small adjustments can reduce unnecessary strain on your system. Because health isn't just about big decisions. It's about the quiet habits you repeat every single day. And the final food I want to talk about is something many people drink daily, reheat casually, and rarely question. Cooking oils. Not just a food, but something you use almost every day. And this is where things become especially important. When oils are heated, they begin to break down. That's normal. But when the same oil is reheated again and again, especially at high temperatures, it can undergo oxidation. This process can lead to the formation of compounds that may contribute to inflammation in the body. Most people don't realize how often this happens. Reusing oil for frying. Reheating leftovers cooked in oil, bringing the same oil back to high heat repeatedly. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. These oxidized compounds don't always cause immediate symptoms. You won't necessarily feel sick right away. But over time, repeated exposure may place stress on your cells, particularly those involved in heart health and metabolic balance. I've seen patients who carefully avoid sugar, processed foods, and excess salt, yet overlook the condition of the oils they're consuming daily. And it matters, especially for individuals concerned about heart health, aging, or blood sugar stability. Your body recognizes the difference between fresh, stable fats and those that have been degraded through repeated heating. So what can you do? Avoid reusing cooking oil multiple times, store oils properly, and try not to reheat oily foods at very high temperatures repeatedly. These are small shifts, but they can have a meaningful impact over time, because your body isn't just keeping track of what you eat today. It's responding to patterns you've been repeating for years. And now, I want to bring everything together in a way that truly changes how you look at your daily habits. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this conversation, it's this. Your health is shaped not only by what you eat, but by how you treat your food after it's cooked. Most people focus on ingredients, calories, labels, diet trends, but very few pay attention to what happens after the meal is made. I've seen this happen too many times, people doing their best, trying to eat better, trying to stay healthy, but missing the subtle habits that quietly influence how their body feels day after day. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Reheating food isn't something you need to avoid entirely. That would be unrealistic. But being mindful about storage, timing, and how often you reheat can make a real difference. Your body notices freshness, it responds to quality, it adapts to patterns, and when you begin to make small, consistent improvements, your body often responds in ways that feel surprisingly noticeable. Better digestion, more stable energy, a sense of lightness after meals. These are signals that your body is working with you, not against you. So tonight, when you step into your kitchen, pause for a moment. Look at what's in your fridge. Think about how it was stored, how many times it's been reheated, how fresh it really is, not with fear, but with intention. Because the most powerful changes in your health don't come from extreme actions. They come from the quiet decisions you make every single day. And sometimes the smallest awareness can lead to the biggest transformation.